Aries, for you, 2022 is all about money, resources, and career. If there's ever a year to get your finances in order, this is it. If you want to know more, keep watching and I'll explain all about it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and as always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. And speaking of content, head over to Instagram and follow me over there at Divine Feminine Works. Every day, I've got a whole bunch of content on tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. All right, so head over there and follow me. All right, so I am so excited to be bringing you this video because this is the video of the year. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, this is the one you definitely want to watch. Actually, this series, because I'm going to be breaking it down by sign, okay? But this is the 2022 astrology forecast. One of my favorite phrases is when you know better, you do better. And if you know what's coming ahead in the coming year, rest assured you're going to be prepared and you're going to know exactly what to do. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, Aries. So for you, 2022 has a major undercurrent of money, resources, and career. So those are sort of the areas of life that are really going to be highlighted for you this year. So let's take everything in chronological order and see what's really good. All right. So we start out the year with an emphasis on your 10th house because in January, we have Venus retrograde in Capricorn, which is going to be conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. And eventually Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your 10th house as well that month. So what that means is that at the top of the year, you guys are really thinking hard about and reassessing not only your relationships as they pertain to your career, but also your career in general. Like I believe that at that time, you guys are going to be thinking about, am I doing the right thing? Some of you may be even contemplating your life purpose. And does that match with what you're actually doing for work? Are you mingling with the right people? Are the right people in place to help you get to where you need to be? Is your money good? Is your career giving you enough money? Do you have the right financial plans in place? And there's this undercurrent of this going on in a very intense way because of the because of the presence of Pluto. So you guys are really going to be thinking hard about your career and your career relationships and all of that good stuff at the top of the year in January. Now in April, you're going to have a partial solar eclipse in your second house of Taurus. And this is the house that governs money and material possessions. So at that time, this is going to be like super fertile soil for you guys to plant seeds related to money, assets, and values. So at that time, you're going to want to set financial plans. You're going to want to maybe start saving for a big ticket item. You may be reassessing what's valuable to you in your life and start taking action in a very practical way with respect to your values or newfound values. But in any event, April is going to be the time where you're going to want to set financial plans in motion. Moving right along, May to July is going to be pretty epic for you because we've got Jupiter entering your first house. We've got your ruling planet Mars entering your first house as well. So what's going to happen is between May and July, you guys are going to feel extra energized. Jupiter is known as the greater benefic, and Jupiter is all about sprinkling blessings and good fortune. And when we're talking about the first house, this is all about how you express yourself. So you guys are going to be extra in everything that you do. How you express yourself, your opinions, your drive, your motivation is going to be revved up with Jupiter and Mars in your first house. Just a word of caution, Jupiter is known as the great expander. And if we're talking about the first house, we're talking about the physical body. So you're definitely going to want to be easy when it comes to either overindulging in food overindulging in exercise. You don't want to overindulge in anything. You're going to want to keep things in a moderate sort of way and on an even keel. But just know that between May and July, you guys are really going to be, the energy that you have is going to be revved up. Your ambitions are going to be revved up. You're really going to be feeling yourself at that time. All right. Moving right along, again in May, we have a total lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is your 8th house. Now, lunar eclipses can be extremely emotional because lunar eclipses are at the time of the full moon. And we all know that full moons make us very emotional. So at that time, your 8th house is going to be lit. And this is the house that covers regeneration, death, birth, transformation, sex, intimacy, shared resources. So there may be some happening, right, that may elicit a very emotional response from you. It may even trigger old wounds and old traumas to come up to the surface to be eradicated. Now, the 8th house covers things like inheritance, taxes, insurance policies. So at that time, something like, I don't want to scare anyone, but perhaps a family member passes away around the time of the lunar eclipse. And at that time, you have to deal with insurances, you have to deal with taxes, you have to deal with inheritances or things like that. For others of you, it may have to do with intimacy in a relationship. It may even do with business partnerships. Maybe there's a tax issue that comes up. Maybe there is a partnership coming together in a very serious sort of way. Regardless, whatever happens, it's going to be pretty emotional, but you may find that something may be eclipsed out of your life, but that's ultimately a good thing because it leaves room for something new and arguably better. All right. The next major month of 2022 is going to be October because we have Saturn square Uranus. We have another eclipse, a partial solar eclipse in your 8th house. And we also have your ruling planet Mars going retrograde. So Saturn versus Uranus is all about boundaries versus freedom. And this is going down between your 11th and your 2nd house. Again, the 2nd house is all about money. So what's going to happen is when Saturn squares Uranus, there may be certain associations that you have. There may be some goals that you're working towards, maybe some friend groups that you are a part of that you feel set, secure, and stable in. And there's going to be new opportunities of making money, new and novel ways of getting your assets up, etc. One of the things I want to caution you with this particular aspect, this Saturn square Uranus, you're going to want to be very cautious of any friends or associates or any sort of people in your networking circle who come to you with any sort of get rich quick schemes, money-making opportunities, investments. These investments may not be what they seem, and they may come to bite you back. It may come to bite you in the ass later on. So you're going to want to be very careful of who you associate with in terms of making money, particularly during October and November when Saturn is square Uranus. All right. Next up, we have a partial solar eclipse in the 8th house. Now, keep in mind that just 6 months earlier in May, there's going to be a total lunar eclipse in your 8th house. And I already explained what that is. Now, a partial solar eclipse is during the new moon. So now in May, things may get eclipsed out of your life. You may be experiencing some erratic changes, some things, emotional traumas and wounds that come up to be cleared. And then in October, you have the chance to plant new seeds with those same things. So using my example from before, let's say you got an inheritance around the lunar eclipse in May. Now in October, you're going to have the opportunity to plant new seeds with that insurance money. Maybe you've got inheritance money. Maybe now is the time to, maybe now you're able to get a loan so you can get into a business partnership. Maybe now is the time when you have an intimate relationship that's going to go to the next level, that's going to get deeper and things like that. That is sort of how the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, the solar eclipse is going to play out for you in October. And then finally, we have Mars retrograde, which is going to be in your 3rd house. That starts in October and it runs for the remainder of the year. Mars retrograde in your 3rd house is really going to have you dialing back on a lot of your day-to-day activities. You may find that you're a little more sluggish when it comes to getting your work done, doing things around the neighborhood, doing things around the house. You're going to feel a little less energetic and less motivated. When it comes to your siblings and it comes to your neighbors, this may be a good time because with Mars retrograde, if you've been fueling, if you've been dueling, if you've been having conflict, maybe now that will tone down a bit. This is also going to allow you to think without being impulsive. Mars generally is a planet of impulsivity. And so when Mars is retrograde, we become less impulsive and more contemplative. So I feel like for the last, I wouldn't say quarter of the year, but for the last couple of months of the year, definitely October, November, perhaps into December, well, definitely into December, you guys are going to be less motivated. I feel like you guys are going to be doing a lot more thinking, a lot more contemplating, a lot less action, which is going to set you up lovely for 2023. So it's going to be a downtime for you guys in particular, but I think it's going to set you up lovely. And then finally in November, we have a total lunar eclipse in your second house, which is Taurus. And so now we had a partial solar eclipse in your second house back in April. And at that time, that's when you planted seeds with respect to money, assets, and values, right? Now with the total lunar eclipse in that same house, in November, this is where you're going to see the fruits of those labor come to fruition. So if you set, and you're going to want to do this, in April, you're going to want to set financial plans. You're going to want to start saving. You're going to want to start getting your assets in order, your money right, all of that stuff. Because if you are diligent with it from April to November, at the time of the lunar eclipse, you're going to have a nice nest egg. You're going to have the money to buy that big ticket item. You may now be living the life that is in accordance with your new values. You're going to see things illuminate and come to fruition. And that's sort of a really great way to end the year. If you're ending the year with, some money in your pocket, money in the bank, investments looking good, you're definitely going to set yourself up for the next couple of years of prosperity. All right, Aries. So that is what 2022 looks like for you. All right. It's going to be a good one. With career, money, and resources, things may be a bit wobbly. Things may be a bit erratic. You may feel like sometimes things are moving out of your control, but it's ultimately to set the stage for you to be stable and prosperous. All right. All right, my loves, that has been the astro forecast for 2022. I sincerely hope that you were able to glean some information that may be helpful to you in the coming year. As always, it is my pleasure and a privilege to be bringing this information to you. I wish you nothing but the best. I mean, the absolute best for 2022. This is going to be a year to remember, and I sincerely hope that it brings you everything that your heart truly desires. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next year. Take care.